Welcome back to the Four Rings Inn for another episode of City of Shadows. The ritual of the First of Asha has concluded, unsuccessful thanks to the efforts of Renshor, Orianna, and Eleonore.
And
The remains of the cult of Cinderfall scatter into the night as that final flow of depraved moving through the city comes to a halt as the Templars at the front gate and in the Darlington district fight the battles against the creatures of the Verramore Forest. We return to Fairchild Gardens and to the remains of the fallen Eleonore Quillin. So, are you ready for a scary story?
Boo.
No more.
Boo! The three moons, each in their fullest brightness, shine down upon Fairchild Garden. The sounds of battle and shouting and screams can still be heard from Darlington and from the North Wall. Flashes of radiant energy, fire, lightning, the clash of steel on flesh. But in Fairchild Gardens, a stillness falls over the destroyed grass, the gazebo that is turning from its brilliant white wood to black cinders as the fire slowly burns down. And the only two living things in Fairchild Garden, Renshor and Orianna, stand over the arm of Eleonore Quillin.
Sad. Sad moment. I don't know how long we stay here for. I don't know how long I hold on to Renshor's cloak, but eventually I'll pull myself off of him and very gently go to take the rings that are left on Eleanor's hand and collect them. And any other jewelry because I know she wore a lot, that might be left on the ground, if there are any torn necklaces or bracelets, but all I know is she has these rings left, and so I will take the rings.
I really wish we still had her drawings.
We don't have her drawings?
Right. I destroyed them, I think. The bag she used to carry everything with, including that chalice, I kind of broke it. It was my effort to just stop the cult.
But the real chalice was in there? It's gone?
As far as I know.
Okay. That's...
Which...
Yeah, that's good.
It wasn't as useful to the summoning as I was hoping it would be. It clearly still worked, just not optimally. What do we do here? We can't just pick her up.
There's nothing really here to take with us. I almost think it'd be worse picking up the pieces rather than just kind of leave them where they lay. I don't know what's more respectful, but...
Also, the poor gardener.
I'm sure she's not the only body that's going to be left behind.
You do see...
And I think it'd be worse carrying her all the way to Quillin Keep. Or it'd be worse carrying the pieces. Like, ugh. Like, I almost get, like, sick. What do I see?
Oh, I was going to say, when you mentioned other bodies, you do see the lower half of Okanor also in the field.
Yeah. I do think we have to tell her parents, though. I think it should come from us. Or at least I feel obligated. It should at least come from me before they find out through the news or through another cloak. I mean, we're the first ones to have eyes on her. We should be the ones to tell her.
Yeah, we do have to do that. I guess we leave. Yeah, we'll go talk to her parents. Maybe we should clean up a little first. Actively bleeding.
I think I have a huge, like, claw mark from the depraved that, like, had ripped into my sleeve, and, like, the claw mark is, like, bleeding out. I'm sure I have scratches all over my face that are bleeding the black blood, and I definitely think that we should go clean up and to not walk into Quillin Keep like this.
Yeah. I'm gonna make a point to not bring up the black blood, but I want you to know that it looks like I'm not doing that intentionally. I don't know how that looks, but you see my face, and we're not doing it. That's for later.
That's for later. Yeah. And honestly, I don't really... How far are we? I don't think I even call for a carriage, because there's all those screams and people are still fighting. Honestly, I think we just take the slow walk home and hope we don't draw any attention from any more depraved or any attention from other cloaks that are running about or priests.
We will have to go past the castle, which I think is where everything was running towards. But I doubt a carriage would come anyways. Oh no, Julius. He's gonna be heartbroken.
Yeah. The whole estate's gonna be heartbroken. I mean, the whole ton's gonna be heartbroken. Everyone loved Eleanor.
It's not the love.
Yeah. So keep to the bridges, we'll keep to the main road, and I think we just walk home.
Okay.
Yeah. As you turn to move south, you still hear a little bit of a clamor coming from within the Whistler's Feast. You can occasionally see like faint flashes of light coming from within as you turn south and head to back to Darlington. You said? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Back to Darlington.
We're gonna go to I guess Tyrval House to clean up.
Deal.
And as we're walking, I was just gonna say, as we're walking, I just would like to. share some memories of Eleanore and her antics.
I think I keep a little bit more quiet than you are, but still enjoying listening to you share some stories and add some anecdotes here and there. But I starting to like shut down a little bit, and just like as the adrenaline is starting to wear off and just getting exhausted by the walk and after all of the fighting, and just letting that just tiredness kind of wash over me as we're walking, and listening to your voice is keeping me present as we're walking back.
It is late.
Yeah. And I also just wanted to ask, where is your mask? Are you carrying it?
No, it's back on the street somewhere outside of the...
Cool.
It got left. Probably trampled.
Yeah, as you walk back, recounting memories of Eleanore, Orianna, your hearing slowly begins to fade out as that adrenaline goes away as well. Renshor's voice becomes more and more distant, and that empty, hungry hole in the pit of your stomach just gets bigger and bigger at the loss of Eleanore. Mechanically, you do have a point of exhaustion. So you're going to make ability checks with disadvantage. The two of you arrive back on Nightingale Avenue. You see there are tons, probably over 50 of the cloaks of the Ashen Order moving up and down Nightingale Avenue. You see there are bodies of Cavum strewn about. One of those bat creatures lays dead in the street, its head completely severed off of its body. And you walk down and you can see the biggest concentration, just piles of these Cavum, and these depraved are at the gates of the Watland house, the Watland estate.
Oh.
How is he involved in this?
But you see the streets are littered with bodies of depraved, intermixed with fallen cloaks and fallen people, civilians of the Pigeon Post that were out late, or carriage drivers. The Nightingale Avenue is a mess, and you make your way through the crowds of the Ashen Order that are cleaning up, doing damage control, and return back to Tyrval Manor. The guards greet you excitedly. They were nervous that you could not be found, and they said that your father had gone out looking for more guards to support the effort.
Oh.
So,
He was looking for you.
No, he wasn't. He was looking for guards to protect his own skin. I'm gonna take my purple cloak off.
sure. You could do that at any point during your walk home, for sure. Yeah.
Orianna, do you need somewhere to clean up?
Yeah, I'll just use the servant's washroom.
Okay, yeah. It's just
Yeah.
a very public place for... Never mind.
Yeah, and I just make my way into the manor. Don't really speak to anybody. I don't really need to talk to anybody. I mean, my thought is that everyone's kind of on edge on what's going on. Once they see, I feel like our two faces, they kind of get relieved that we're back, and they're not really going to question. More like they're just going to keep going on and trying to protect the manor and listening for news on the front on what's happening. And so I feel like I can safely make my way back to the servants' quarters without people really questioning me just yet.
Yeah. The guards say that they'll send out for some healers from the Enlightened to treat both of you. But they're mostly occupied. They know that inside the manor is safe, and so they're occupied with maintaining security around the outside of the manor. And as you go inside, most of the servants are either gossiping about what's going on outside or huddled up in fear in main rooms. They have fires lit, and are waiting to hear if they are safe in Tyrville Manor. And so you both make it to your rooms undisturbed.
Yeah, I take the time to try to stop any of the bleeding, wash up any dried blood, and just really just take my time doing it in a very slow manner, just in sitting with the trauma that we just went through and just kind of forcing myself through all the motions of needing to clean myself up, trying to prep myself for going over to Quillin Keep to tell her parents, and just kind of reliving everything that happened and if there was anything we could have done differently. I mean, we did everything we could, but why did it have to end that way? Did I miss a step somewhere? Should I have been more vocal about doing something differently? And yeah, just having all of these thoughts just kind of running through my mind as I'm just trying to look presentable enough to show up at her parents' house without them being disturbed by the sight of the two of us to deliver such gruesome news.
Yeah. You, since both of you reached 0 hit points during the battle, you both receive a scar from the combat. If you guys want to describe what that scar looks like.
So as I am entering the bathroom to clean up, I take my shirt off. All my clothes are trash, covered in blood and cuts and whatnot. I notice that the blackness of the purple of my veins over my heart has grown slightly, and I've also noticed that bat creature got a pretty good scratch up my ribs as well. And I just take some time and clean off all the red blood, normal looking red blood. I'm gonna bandage any cuts and whatnot, but when the healers come I will decline.
Orianna?
Yeah, I think as I was saying before, I think the scratches on my left bicep are probably the worst, and those are probably the ones that are gonna scar over, and so I'll take extra care to tie it up so that to try and stop the bleeding. But the rest of the cuts are kind of superficial enough that I could wash the blood off, and I don't think I need a healer for them. But considering the black blood coming out of my arm, I will also decline to see a healer for it, as I'll just bandage it up myself. and hope for the best later.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like it's kind of rude to show up to Eleanor's parents' house and be like blemish free. I think it gives a little more truth to our story if we're also not
A little
beautiful.
banged up.
Yeah, your daughter died, but we're pristine looking because we didn't
Doing
try
great.
to help her.
Yeah.
I will go down and in new clothes, bandages. My hair is definitely wet because there was some matted blood in there. So, but I will wait in the little. I don't even know what to call it, like the
Yeah, like a
little
foyer.
sitting room
Vestibule.
next to the foyer. Yeah.
Yeah, the vestibule. This is the foyer.
Yeah, I think when I eventually come out, my hairs will also be wet, as I don't have time to dry it or put it up or anything. So it's just down and also wet from the bath. And I'm just wearing normal clothes, nothing with Ashen Order emblems on them. Just simple, plain. And I also would like to take one of the rings that I took from Eleanor's body and slip one that fits onto my pinky. And that one I would like to specifically keep. And the rest I'm going to have kind of ready to present to her parents.
Can I have one too?
Yeah, you can have one. If you can find one that'll fit your finger. Or you might have to wear it on a necklace or something.
That's
They're pretty
actually
small.
a much better. Yeah.
I think I took her largest one to fit on my pinky. But you're welcome to it, whichever one here is left.
I want the smallest one.
Oh, the tiniest little ring.
And that'll go in my pocket for now.
Yeah. As you guys go to leave, one of the guards at the front door stops you and just goes, Lord Renshor, your father was very clear. He did not want you leaving the safety of the manor. If you were to return, it is our utmost priority to keep you safe as heir to the Tyrval house.
I respect that. But clearly, I am in safe hands. And I'll gesture to Orianna.
Who has no weapons on her right now.
No weapons, none whatsoever. And there is news. We must deliver. It's paramount. I'll be back before Father. He'll never know that I was even here in the first place.
Give me a persuasion check.
I'm in fucking charge of these guys.
You can do it with advantage. You're their boss.
Oh, thank God. Actually,
I'm not going to help because I have disadvantage.
Thanks. 18.
18. You see that the guard begins to motion for another one of the security to come over to follow you on your outing. You can stop him if you like. On an 18, if you'd like to stop the guard from waving this guy down, you may. But if you don't,
I have no problem with him coming.
Cool.
I think that's fine.
Orianna is weaponless.
I'm weaponless right now. It's dark out.
We're tired.
We're tired. There's still things out and about.
Yeah, I have no problem with him coming.
One of the guards comes over wearing the leathered armor with Tyrval House crest. Has a sword and a crossbow strapped to his chest, or basically rather strapped to his back. Nods to you and then is gonna follow alongside.
What's his name?
His name. Sorry, just the way you asked was very funny.
It was
his,
pointed. I
It
want
was
you to
intentional.
fail.
Yeah, his name is Zenarin. Zenairan.
You know what? That is one of the better names you've come up with in a very long time. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
As we're walking over, I'll kind of nudge Renshor. Is Kazdeth okay? Did you see him up there?
Oh, I really should have checked. How did I not look for him? Oh my god. I'm as bad as father. I have to imagine he's okay. I feel like the guards... Zenarin, is Kazdeth okay?
I believe so, sir. He went with Lord Tyrval to fetch help.
So they were allowed to leave, but I wasn't. Why was everyone else allowed to go?
Your father wanted Kazdeth to have experience with being to prepare him for
Used as a
knighthood.
human shield.
Orianna, don't say that in front of the guard.
He wishes Kazdeth to be prepared for knighthood, and wished for him to see the process of the town guard, in this case the Ashen Order.
Very
We
well.
thought it was a practical use of his time.
Perfectly so. Okay. Thank you.
Off
I
we
have no
go.
idea what we're gonna say when we get to this door.
I mean, we can't really beat around the bush on it. We kind of have to be a little blunt, so they know how serious it is, and that it is no joke or prank or that they misheard. It needs to be just clearly said. And it sucks, but that's the best way to go about it.
Will you do it?
I can do it.
Thank you. Maybe we should make Zenarin do it.
No. Like I said, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'll be blunt and give them as much information as I can about the situation, about what happened, that we were strolling through the gardens, and everything that happened afterwards.
That was something I always appreciated about you, was your bluntness. Well, sometimes.
Sometimes. Alright, let's go get this over with.
I'll knock on the door.
Yeah. You move back into
I guess we should have made Zenarin do that, but, whatever. It's a weird day.
You move back into the moonlit night, stepping over and around bodies of people and beast.
Are there a lot of beasts, leading up to the door of Quillin Keep?
No more than around Tyrval Manor or anywhere else.
Not like the Watlands.
Not like the Watlands.
That's a good thought, because she used her blood.
Just checking.
You both move past the two huge stone griffins that flank the entrance to Quillin Keep. One of the griffins has been, there are claw marks that dig deep into the side of the griffin and scratch through its snout and its nose. Parts of it are chipped off. You move through the front gate. The Quillin guard, the guards of Quillin Keep, stand and let you pass as they protect the perimeter. And you move to the...
They're confident I'm not a doppelganger.
You move to the front door of Quillin Keep.
I'll knock on the door.
You knock on the door. You can hear rapid boots coming to the front door. And as the door opens, it's not Marisol or any of the other servants to open it. It's Florian Quillin. And as soon as she sees the two of you, and just the two of you, her eyes immediately well up in tears.
Yeah. I don't make any movements like to any other, like the reading room or the study or anything. I think I step into the doorway into the manor, and then proceed to tell her the news just right here and give any explanation that she needs. Give her time to feel what she needs to feel, and then answer any questions and help her the best that I can to process what happened so that she can grieve over it.
Yeah. You see she immediately collapses to the ground. As your explaining goes, you can hear Kier shouting throughout the house as he's hearing the news as well. Servants cry. Zenarian cries. It's a sad moment.
I totally forgot who he was.
The manor is distraught and left, although standing perfectly fine, left in ruins as the first of Asha comes to Thallea. As time progresses, we move away from Quillin Keep and move over the city of Thallea. The aftermath of the first of Asha takes multiple days to come to light and to resolve. With the help of the Templars, the Ashen Order successfully defends the city from the depraved onslaught. The Atwood Gate suffers serious damage, but is still intact and still standing. And you walking around in the aftermath, you see that along with the front gate, the Atwood Gate, and the Watland Manor, there are piles of the Cavum and the depraved, the goat-like depraved, and the winged beasts strewn about Asphodel Square as well. The Ashen Order, as well as the help of the guilds of the city, begin to clean the bodies of the depraved out. They are all taken out of the city and burned in Verramore Forest. The blood is beginning to get cleaned off the streets. The inside of the Whistler's Feast is exposed to the aftermath as the Ashen Order comes in. They recovered 3 living initiates, 1 maroon cloaked cultist, 2 surviving cloaks, and 1 gravely wounded but still alive Inspector Dayborn. The rest of the congregation that was within the Whistler's Feast was killed by a huge, single-eyed depraved, which body was found also slain within the Whistler's Feast.
No, he's dead.
Yeah.
Everybody's dead.
The city mourns the loss of Count Heir Eleonore Quillin. Her death seems to be a tragic accident, a case of being at the wrong place at the wrong time, a late night stroll through Fairchild Garden gone horribly wrong. The city also mourns the death of Viscount Okenor, and a search has begun for his wife, who is missing, Julia Ketters. You know that the Quillins don't release to the public that both highborns were found in Fairchild Gardens. They simply disclose that she was killed by the depraved that night. On the 3rd of Asha, High Priest Ilion calls for an emergency meeting of the Pristine. All the acting counts, as well as viscounts in the city, Renshor, your father, arrives and brings you along as well.
I was gonna say I want to go along.
If you're willing to go.
Yeah, I would like to.
Your father is commended for his services in protecting the city, as he went out and was working to organize some form of militia amongst the citizens, whether as the town guard is currently out fighting the war, working with factions of the Hunters Guild or the Rangers, the Grim Watch, that were within the city, and organizing them to help fight. Your father, as well as some other of the Viscounts, receive recognition for their assistance in their organization. With the panic from the previous attack, Ilion proposes once again the idea of the Enlightened paying for goods with blessings instead of shade marks, or instead of marks. And there is a unanimous vote to support this time, both noticeably from the Quillins and from your father. In addition, Ilion also proposes that a decree allowing the Enlightened to select children from the other formal schools throughout the city, that children that have an aptitude for public service, as he put it, and move them to the Guiding Flame as a way to potentially boost the Ashen Order's numbers as children graduate from the Guiding Flame Institute. This also passes unanimously. The next morning, on the 4th of Asha, the Ashen Order reorganizes a little bit. Their numbers are bolstered not only from the decree of High Priest Ilion, which will come into effect shortly, but also from patriotic members of the city volunteering for the Ashen Order and joining the ranks. The Order reorganizes. The Templars have always been the commanders of the Ashen Order, but now they divide sections of the Ashen Order specifically to work for them and to hold different purpose. Orianna, you receive a letter on the morning of the 4th that your protection of the Viscount family Tyrvald has run its course. They will be protected by other means. However, you are needed by the Ashen Order, as is your oath to them. Particularly, you are reassigned to the command of Templar Kalis Cofford, also known throughout the city as the Mage Bane. Kalis is he is a elven man and has been alive long since the betrayal of the mages, and has a reputation for hunting down spheres and those who would cast with them. You are reassigned to their command and find that you will begin training shortly to, instead of working the wall or guarding bridges or working the night shift, you're going to be scouring the city for mages and presumably the remnants of whatever cult activity occurred at the Whistler's Feast. In the meantime, Renshor, you see that the counts and viscounts go around the city. Your father takes you to make public appearances in front of crowds, in front of the populace, as the Pristine attempts to show the citizens that their safety is their highest priority. Your father makes a handful of speeches to the people in every district to assure them that they are doing everything in their power to protect the people of Thallea, and that the safety and prosperity of House Blacksbane is their utmost priority. You also see that the people from the Hunters Guild, the Wolves Guild, people from the Grimwatch, as well as just people from other professions, have begun to take up arms as essentially mercenaries, bodyguards for hire, as the nobles look to bolster the numbers of their security, both to replace what was lost on the first, as well as to strengthen their numbers. And you see people volunteer although it may be a dangerous position, to work in service of a noble is a rare opportunity, and you see people taking this opportunity. We return to the 4th of Asha as Orianna, you are tasked to move out of the Tyrvald Manor and report back to the barracks by morning of tomorrow actually, that's not true. You're to report back to the barracks by the 7th of Asha for your first day of training. But to move back to the barracks effective immediately. Training will begin immediately, but due to your circumstances and with a little bit of special treatment as the daughter of a scion, your High Priest Ilion pulls some strings to allow you to have the funeral of Eleonore Quillin on the 5th, that you do not have to serve. As these days progress, obviously for both of you, the sadness, the depression, that loss of Eleanor is incredibly fresh, incredibly heavy. And it weighs on you both immensely. Orianna, you in particular feel that hole in your chest, that emptiness that Eleanor once filled, that hunger in you. Despite getting the long rest of sleep, the healing of the enlightened, the exhaustion does not go away. You cannot shake the tiredness, the sluggishness, and despite, eating food, when in this headspace, eating is not easy to begin with, but despite eating food, it does not fill your stomach. You still feel hungry.
Still have disadvantage on all my ability
You'll have
checks.
disadvantage on all your ability checks. Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
Mm-hmm. But as you pack your things from Tyrvell Manor, and Arthas and Renshor return from their tour of the city, we're going to take a quick break and then return for more City of Shadow.
Welcome to Starlight Globe.
Oh, of course it's Starlight Globe.
We're in Starlight Globe?
Yes! This holiday.
This doesn't make any sense. How did we get here?
Magic.
Magic. We are at Starlight Globe. Anything here is possible.
Anything.
Find wonder.
Do you think if I believed really hard that there was a giant monstrosity of one of those brownies underneath us, it would be true?
Unfortunately, I think that might be the case.
I'm scared that you already believe that. I think in your heart of hearts, you think that there's a giant monster under us, and that's why you just said that. Why would you say that?
No, I think I do believe it.
Honestly, I think it now.
And adventure.
Okay, well, I guess I'll follow the star for now, because clearly you guys don't know how to do anything. So I'll have to stay here to help you get there.
Yeah, and we couldn't leave you behind. That's not right. We have to stick together. You can't leave someone alone on a trail. That's how people die.
Vesla left us alone.
Yeah.
She actually left 3 8-year-olds alone.
Oh, I'm telling my mom when we get back home that the lady left us alone.
Once upon a star.
You can be rich in more than just money.
Yeah.
Like assets and property. There's non-liquid forms of being rich.
Yeah, like having lots of friends and family who love you and go on trips with you.
He said a bad word. He said assets.
Dearest Orianna, I don't know what I'm doing. I cannot write to her. Not anymore. But so much has happened, and I just need someone to talk to. Someone who can listen to all the things that I cannot tell her. I found my grandsire's siphon, and I've been practicing runic magic. It's illegal, and super dangerous. But I do not wish to stop. I wish to understand where I come from, who my grandsire and family were before Thallea and before the depraved. And I believe I need all the help I can get. As your Viscount, I implore you to like and subscribe, and together we can keep the depraved out of this city and save her.
We return back to Tyrvell Manor, Orianna packing her things to head back to the barracks. Her contract with the Tyrvalds is up. Arthas has relieved you of duty.
He's kicking me out.
Kicking you out at the first chance he gets. And
Understandable. He doesn't like me.
Renshor, you and your father return back to the manor after your trip around the city.
I will beg his leave and go to the servants' quarters, which I don't know if I've ever been to before.
No, you had your letter delivered. You didn't do it yourself, so...
Dang.
Yeah.
So I'm just in my room packing up the last of my clothes, and probably the last few items to pack would be my ornate rug that I use for my Vignacci and my mace bell. I'm just kind of sticking things in bags. I have a little harness and a strap for my mace bell.
Orianna, I understand you have to report, but do you have to leave so soon?
Your father made it pretty clear that I'm unwelcomed in this house when I'm not being ordered to, and don't want to cause any other disturbances or problems around here. And the Ashen Order is also asking me to return back, even though I don't have to actually start working until the 7th. They still want me back, just in preparation. Legally, I have no reason of being here.
Well,
It's not really my choice.
I mean, we're friends, right?
Yeah, of course, Renshor. I can come back during the day, and we can head to the funeral together tomorrow.
I mean, do you want me to escort you back to the barracks? That way you don't have to call for a cab. Or carriage.
Sure. Yeah, that would be nice. It's not my choice to leave this time.
Yeah, I know. Are you all packed up? I can carry some bags.
Yeah, just about. Renshor, I know we haven't really talked about it the last couple days, just because I've certainly been grieving in my own way, and I know I've been keeping to myself, and you certainly are grieving in your own way, but we didn't really talk about what happened that night. What happened in the hearth? I thought we were on track to stop it. Did we actually stop it? Did we do anything? Did her death mean anything?
It did. We made a huge difference in the way that was supposed to go. It wasn't as much as I had hoped it would be, obviously, but...
I mean, from the outside, it looked like we did nothing. I know you said you destroyed the chalice, but
I don't know much, because they didn't tell me much.
Mm-hmm.
But I know, just kind of inexperienced, how everyone was reacting. That did not go how it was supposed to. It would have been so much worse if they had the right blood and they had the chalice.
What went on in there?
So many people. There was, I mean, you read the news report. There was, Nell was chained up. Father was doing an incantation. There was a bunch of mages who, were giving their sphere to the incantation. Collective magic, I guess. And it just kind of all exploded almost immediately. Dayborn and his crew were invading. People running, people hitting. Honestly, I got out just in time. As soon as I got below stage, there was an explosion. The Nell had broke his chains. I mean, I imagine that's when just about everybody died, because there were a lot more survivors when I left. But I could tell just they were so frustrated that it wasn't working properly. It would have been so much worse with that chalice.
And it's been kind of bugging me, but you were in that carriage with Okanor, and when we stopped you guys on the bridge, like according to plan, there was Mother in that carriage with you, and we didn't expect her to be there.
No.
And what did she gave you a sphere? What happened in that carriage with Mother? Why did she give you a spear?
She didn't. I've had that sphere for I don't know, about like maybe a week. Since the ball.
Since the ball?
I couldn't tell you. You just hate those so much, but it was like a family heirloom, and it just called to me. I knew it was important.
I think I placed my hands like right on your face, on your cheeks, and I'm just looking into your eyes like, are you hurt? Are there any lingering effects from using it? Have you been using it?
I've been using it.
Is it hurting you?
Only when I tell it to. And I didn't think about this as a problem until right now. But I have also been using it on you, which I realize now is potentially an issue. It was all for good. Giving you extra health, or just kind of boosting your spirit. And I know I shouldn't have done that. I just felt like you needed to know. I am sorry.
I wish you would have said something earlier.
I didn't want to hurt you. And
I don't want you to get... I've seen what they can do. And I mean, I explained this to Eleanor when I tried to get the other sphere away from her. They hurt people, Renshor. How do you know how to control it? How do you know how to guide the magic in the right way? Like, you said you've only been using it for a week. What if the magic backfires and it hurts you even more?
I have like an instruction manual that was written, and I don't know. I think it only hurts people in the wrong hands. In the right hands, they can be, at least mine can be very good. It doesn't hurt anybody. Honestly, every spell I can do really just helps those around me. Like I have one where I can just
Is it on you right now?
Yeah. I don't leave without it. The amount of times that we've been stuck somewhere and it's helped. It's made a difference. It's changed the tide of a battle. I mean, when we got stuck in that alley, the whole time I had us covered in shadows so Father couldn't chase us. Or, basically anytime Eleanor went anywhere.
And that's you passed out
Like I
in
said,
the alley. You almost died on me, Renshor.
only when I let it. I was willing to take that risk to protect
you
both of
let
you.
it kill you?
To save the both of you, absolutely.
Renshor, I was so scared.
I know.
That's the exact reason for my fear. Is that it's gonna hurt you, even more kill you. I've been just worried about you getting hurt this whole time. And this fear almost killed you. I don't want you dying for my sake.
I'm sorry, but that's not your decision. I would doubly give my life for yours. Not a second thought. If I can use that sphere and give you some kind of protection, and it kills me, absolutely. Every time. And honestly, when I say every time, I mean it, because it's happened multiple times.
Stay in character. Renshor, I'm not okay with that. I know you're gonna do what you think is best, and I can't tell you what to do, but I'm not okay with the idea of you sacrificing yourself for me.
And what if it was a sword? Would you not? I mean, I would jump in front of a blade. Does that make it different?
No, I don't want you doing that either. I guess my fear with the spheres is I feel like they're more uncontrollable, and I don't know if it's gonna like backfire. Like I feel like a sword is more controlled, and you can learn it.
I've poked myself with a sword more times than I've hurt myself with a sphere.
Yeah, but you've never come close to death using a sword.
No.
I saw you fight in that pit at the gambling arena. You can hold your own with a sword just fine. I mean, I guess I've been unknowingly seeing you fight with a sphere too. But
I didn't use the magic to influence that fight. That was fair. Not that that matters. But...
I believe you.
I mean, just on the first, I used it to save Dayborn's life. He'll never know it.
Yeah, I wish Dayborn would have told us that he was going to be there. That would have maybe changed our plan a little bit.
Well, he did half think I was a doppelganger, so there's probably a reason for some distrust. I want you to know, Orianna, I meant you no harm. I didn't tell you specifically so it could not hurt you. And I hate to use this as a segue, but while we're bringing up uncomfortable subjects, I did see those wings, too.
Yeah. They're falling apart. They're not pretty.
What's happening?
Well, what's it? 12, 13 weeks now? How many months ago? A little bit before I ended things with you. I was studying at the Guiding Flame Library when someone had attacked, and only learning recently that it was this fanged man, or father, I guess. And he wasn't wearing his mask at the time. It was just a cultist in a cloak with a sphere. And he had taken a book from the back of the library that I don't think anyone really knew was there, and casted something across the room using his sphere, and suddenly all of my emotions and my feelings and everything around me, all of my senses were just heightened, and I had no control over them. And all of this magic started happening around me, or I guess from me, and it hasn't really stopped. And it was doing a lot of bad things to people around me. And so Chimette's been helping to keep them at bay, to keep my feelings and all the magic around me at bay. And I've been getting better at controlling it, especially since seeing you since the ball. I think attending the ball was kind of my own little test to see if I can be around my loved ones and not feel too excited to be there, or not feel too happy to see you, and to see if I can just keep my cool. And so he's helping me to keep me calm and make sure that whatever magical curse is attached to me doesn't hurt any other people. And I guess the whole summer, I thought if I could find the sphere that caused this to me, I could somehow reverse engineer it, somehow reverse whatever is happening, and try to get my blood back to the way it was, and my wings back to the way they were, and just stop this magic that is haunting me. And I don't know what to do about it except try to stop Father. Except to get his sphere and see if that'll do anything. Because Chimette's been working all summer, and he hasn't found anything yet.
My sphere helps. Maybe his father's hurts and mine's the antithesis. Maybe I can erase what he did. I don't know how. I don't know if. But I know everything mine can do is always for the good of people.
I mean, if you're willing, maybe you can come with me to talk to Chimette and share, I guess, some of the knowledge that you know about the spheres with him, and he can share what he knows about what's going on with me. And if you want to help.
Yeah. I'd love to go talk to Chimette. While we're being honest, it does hurt a bit that you told him and not me.
Well, when it happened, he was the one who found me in a much bigger mess than I've ever been in. And he's the one who immediately kind of stopped all of my emotions for a little bit and calmed me down. And I mean, he found me. He was just at the right place, right time, and took it upon himself to help find a cure. Oh, I mean, if we're speaking plainly, it was both him and Elda, my sister. Both the two of them rushed into the room together, so she knows as well. But no one else really knows. The Ashen Order doesn't know. My mother doesn't know. Eleanor kind of knew that something was wrong, but I never really told her that anything specific. And I felt so bad not telling you and not telling Eleanor. But I didn't want to get... I wasn't ready to talk about it. I wasn't ready to get upset talking about it. I didn't want to lose my control over how I was feeling about it and have the magic start again.
I understand. Let's get your bags loaded up.
Okay.
Orianna, as excuse me, as you finish packing and Renshor helps you, I need you to make a perception check for me, and it is with disadvantage.
Alright, well that's pretty low. Let's see if we can go lower. Oh, we did! Where's my perception on here? 7.
7. Renshor, I need you to give me an insight check real quick.
I don't have disadvantage, right?
No, you're good.
14?
14. You catch Orianna while you're packing, kind of giving you, I don't want to say odd glances, but kind of like lingering stares as you're packing. And Orianna, you're not even cognizant about the looks or the staring that you're doing to Renshor, but as you're packing, every once in a while, that like hole in your chest, that hunger in your stomach, it rumbles, and you can't help but like glance over and just see like a vein in Renshor's neck, just boop, 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 just pulsing with blood, and your eyes catch on it. And you can feel that hunger like tense up in your stomach before you pull yourself away. And on a 7 perception, Renshor, you catch those glances at you.
I absolutely just assume she's upset about the sphere. I have no idea that she's a vampire.
Yeah. I'm not a vampire. I also think, from my perspective, I'm also just upset that he's been hiding a sphere from me, and I deep down am like, I'm processing this feeling as being upset with him for like hiding the sphere, but like I'm not acting on it because I mean, he has every it was his sphere. He has every right to do what he wishes with it, and he was doing it for my he had good excuses and good reasons. But I'm like deep down still like, I don't like that he did that. It's very upsetting. Yeah. Upsetting that he used it on me without my permission or my knowledge. It is what's upsetting. Not that he necessarily had it, but that he was casting on me knowing that I had a dislike for them. Regardless of my dislike, that he used it without telling me. And I think that's how I'm processing this feeling.
Yeah, that's a fair process. I feel most bad about that. I'd feel less bad if I only used it on Eleanor.
Is there anything the two of you would like to do before Orianna moves back to the barracks?
I don't think anything from me. I packed up my room. I have my mace bell. I have all of my Ashen Order items. I don't need to say goodbye to Arthas. I am just going to leave the house. He knows that I am leaving. I'm sure he is happy that I'm leaving. I have no other business in this home, I guess.
That hurts.
You're leaving with me. You're driving with me. I'm not leaving. I'm not...
There's nothing in this house I want. So I'm leaving.
Because he's coming with me, right? You said you're gonna ride in the carriage with me back. Okay, so I'm not saying goodbye yet.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna see him tomorrow. I'm gonna come back.
Are we meeting here? Or are we just both going separate?
No, we can meet if I can come meet you here at Tyrell Manor. I mean, the Brighthole Barracks are so far away and the funeral's so much closer here, and I'll meet you here and we can go together as friends. Not as your Ashen Order guard this time.
We've had a lot of titles for our relationships recently. Okay. I will. Are we at the barracks? Am I saying goodbye? Is this goodbye?
It could, yeah.
Okay. I will see you tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Oh, also. Completely random. Mother, you don't know who she is.
But you do.
I do, yeah. She was, do you want to know?
Do I want to know? Yes, Renshor.
It was Juliet Ketters.
It is Juliet.
I think it was. I think she blew up. I think she turned into a bird or something, because I just heard like a squeal, maybe like a pig. I don't know. We did use pig blood. I don't know. Her voice sounded really weird before there was a big blow up and an explosion.
She turned into a pig? I asked what happened at the ceremony, and you mentioned nothing about a pig woman.
Well, I mentioned what I knew to be factual. As soon as I went under the stage, everything past that is a guess. So, something happened to her. I know not what.
Interesting.
But yeah, that whole household was fucked up.
I mean,
Card,
she sent me the
Juliet.
letter to meet her, but then I also received a second letter to beware who I trust. Who gave me the second letter? Who knew that Juliet was in on it?
Maybe they're just telling you not to trust me? Maybe
that wouldn't be it. They know I'm gonna kind of trust you no matter what. There's no random anonymous letter that's gonna convince me to not.
Wait, didn't it come from
you.
Dayborn? Didn't we determine that came from? I don't remember. There was a lot of not trustworthiness.
No, because I showed it to him and he said he didn't know.
Oh.
Because I originally I thought it was from him, and so I showed it to him and he said it wasn't from him. That I still have no idea where that letter came from.
Oh. I don't know.
Intriguing.
The worst part about letters is, since the post people, pigeon post, know where we are at all times, it doesn't help us narrow down. It would be nice if we knew, oh, that person sent you that letter, must have known you were at Tyrell Manor. But that's not the case. It could have been your dad. He could have just been fucking with you. He did not need to have any knowledge of where you are. You know? I mean, I think that's a bit of an extreme example, but it'd just be nice if we had more information. Anyways, I trust we'll keep everything that was said a little earlier just between us.
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
Especially everything that I said too.
Well, of course. You have a lot more reason to share what I said.
Reason?
your new station.
That doesn't mean I'm gonna share that. I mean, we're still away from the barracks. We're away from. We're still in the carriage.
You're in the mess hall. Everybody's
No,
around you.
no.
You're in the carriage
no.
for sure.
I mean, you might have a sphere, but I also have this weird magic around me too. I can get just as fucked by the Ashen Order as you.
Yours is a curse and easily proven as such.
I don't know.
I'm in possession of a rock that I could easily just toss over the wall and forget about.
I guess. I don't know. I think
yeah.
we're both deep in some magic shit that we can both really get in trouble for. And so we both have to really trust each other on this.
I've never not trusted you.
And likewise. I may be upset about it, but I've never not trusted you about it.
There we go. I will see you tomorrow.
Yes.
Enjoy your break from my house.
Right. See you tomorrow, Renshor.
You part ways for the rest of the 4th. The morning of the 5th, the two of you reconvene. As you said, meeting at Tirval Manor before heading to the Asphodel Cathedral for the funeral of Eleonore Quillin.
It is so weird not traveling with Eleanor.
You mean, and also not traveling with Julius?
That too. We armed that man to the teeth.
The 5th of Asha is a cold day. A chilly wind whips through the city, but the clouds are sparse and the sun shines brightly down between the buildings and the slats of the roof, the spires and the chimneys cast shadows throughout the ground as all of the banners and tapestries blow in this brisk wind as you guys make your way to Asphodel Cathedral. The cathedral, as you arrive in procession, is full of nobles. Actually, both of you give me gossip checks for me as you arrive.
This is gonna be good.
This was always Eleanor's roll. 7.
With disadvantage, I rolled a 0.
Excellent.
There's no 0 on the die, but I do have a 0.
We need Eleanor. I miss her so much.
It is incredibly apparent that the one who would receive the gossip is not present. On a 7, the only gossip that you pick up on is the ones that are incredibly obvious, the ones that could not be missed. You see that in full plate armor, the ceremonious plate armor, not the ones that he would wear on the battlefield, Crown's Blade Tarnis Kester has returned from the front lines down south to attend the funeral, the death of a count. There's some talk that he rode in this very morning, is attending the funeral, and then immediately riding back to the front lines.
Who was this guy?
You see broad shoulders, thick black beard, slicked black hair, dark-skinned human, standing at the position of Crown's Blade, He stands near the casket, protecting the final burial of a count. And
Presumed closed.
yes, it is a closed casket.
That's a question.
You
Just aren't.
on a 7, you don't recognize any people and you don't get any names, but you do recognize some new faces in the crowd. Counts, or rather now viscounts of the lords of towns outside of Thalea, so the southern towns, have also come into the city to pay their respects to Eleanor, particularly to the Quillin family, who are so involved with the Viscounts. They would not miss this, to the opportunity to pay their respects. The ceremony of Eleanor's funeral begins. It is presided over by High Priest Ilion himself, wearing the robes of the Enlightened, but with these bright pink accents, in tribute to the Quillin family. He gives his sermon of the Novem and of the passing of life and the legacy left behind by the actions of someone so noble and so kind-hearted as Count Heir Eleonore Quillin. He speaks in front of the crowd, saying, Count Heir Eleonore Quillin represented all a count should be. Brave, caring, connected with her people. The kingdom was robbed of the best among us. Her actions in life shall carry her name for all eternity. Kept alive by us, Thalians. Kept alive by her honorable house. And kept alive by the divine Novem upon their ascent. We lay Eleanor to rest this day, but we will speak her name every day forth, and her legacy will be forever written in the glory and honor of Calidor. To bring Count Heir Eleanor to her final resting place, the procession of House Blacksbane may commence. And you see the congregation rises, enlightened. The priests of the Enlightened come to the casket, hoist it from its podium, begin to carry it out. As it exits the cathedral, the congregation follows behind. And as you leave Asphodel Cathedral, the procession is going to move from Darlington and from Asphodel Cathedral into Etherley, weaving through the streets, coming up through New Elsport, across the Emerald Market, which has been closed down for the day, over the bridge into Thornley, past the guild halls of Blacksbane, the guild halls of Thalea, around to Castle Greywall, moving beneath its great shadow, passing by the mighty Iron Falls before making its way back down Nightingale Avenue to end at Quillin Keep. As the procession moves through, the streets have been cleared for the casket. However, the streets alongside are packed shoulder to shoulder with citizens of Thalea. It seems like the entire city has come out to view the procession, whether it's in the streets, whether it's on balconies, through open windows. Everything comes to a standstill as the procession moves through. The streets that you walk have been flooded with red, pink, and orange rose petals that cover every step that you walk and everywhere that the casket goes. It is a beautiful sight, if not horrifically sad, as the casket ends at Quillin Keep and presented to Kier and Florian, who are an absolute train wreck, and presented to the Quillins to be buried entombed within the keep or wherever the Quillins choose to lay the casket to rest. Later, after the procession finishes, as evening sets in, a second ceremony, a more private celebration of life is done at the Temple of Everin, being hosted for more of the close family and friends of the Quillins. You are both invited. You know, Renshor, that your father will be attending. Do either of you not attend?
I'm there.
No, we're there.
You are in attendance at the Temple of Everin. You see that all of the art that normally decorates the Temple of Everin has been temporarily removed, and the Quillins have put up all of the remaining art that Eleanor has.
But there is some left.
That Eleanor had done. Nothing that had been completed by Eleanor since. I mean, if she had done any side projects, they would be here. But all of the campaign-related drawings were destroyed in the bag of holding. But
she's been an artist for years, her whole life.
Yeah.
So they have decades of art.
You see all of her art on display, and you watch as the Counts and Viscounts that are not particularly close with the Quillin family make an appearance. They greet Kier and Florian, pay their deepest respects before respectfully leaving. A quick departure in this sense is not seen as rude, as they show their respects and then they allow the space to be held for close family and friends. Once again, I need a gossip check from everybody.
Do this better. Hey!
Very low again. Okay. -1. We're getting lower, guys.
I didn't think that was possible.
Wow.
I have a dirty 20.
Wow, excellent.
I know these people I'm surrounded by right now.
I am getting worse. I am just not feeling good being here. I'm just the grief is really starting to wash over me seeing all of this. am not listening to anyone anymore.
No, that's fair.
Yeah. Orianna, give me a wisdom saving throw.
I am just gonna purposely fail it.
Sure.
I mean, I can roll if you want, but in this moment, am not even trying. I don't think I have the energy to try.
Yeah.
To stop.
Yeah, I think even prior as you're walking throughout the procession, here, like walking down the street, all the people watching the casket move down, the sounds become dull and then quiet and then disappear. You're just left with this static, this ringing in your ears. And even as you arrive to the Temple of Everin, people move past you, but there is no sound. You cannot hear anything.
Yeah, as we were like walking through the procession, I would have been holding on to like Renshor's arm, just kind of like cuffed in, and just kind of just going through the motions of the event and partaking the best that I can, but like I am like mentally almost not even present. Like I'm just like just grieving, just watching people and just not feeling good.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Renshor, you see as Orianna is gripping your hand in the Temple of Everin. First thing that you notice, particularly because of their they stand out from the rest of the people walking around here. The rest of people paying their respects. You see Alora and Elda, Oriana's mother and sister, make an appearance and speak briefly with the Quillins. They are dressed in their most formal clothes, and they, as representing their scion, father, and the enlightened, they, in the most formal way, have their wings extended, their eyes glowing. Their wings look different than Oriana's wings, as you saw them previously. Oriana, do you want to describe your family's, how your mother and sister looked?
Yeah, my mother's wings are all completely feathered, as they should be. They start off more closer to the back, like darker black wings, and then kind of taper off into like gray into white near the end. And so it's this nice transition of hues. And Elda's wings are a multicolored, different shades of blue. Like she has some navy blue in there, some teal, a whole bunch of just different blue feathers kind of scattered about. And Renshor would know that Oriana's wings look very similar, if not identical, to her mother's. And Elda's does look very different. But, Elda's are also feathered as well.
On a dirty 20, you also notice that one of the first people to enter the Temple of Everin, and one of the handful of counts that do not leave quickly but stay for the entire celebration of life, are the Watlins, both of which who rarely leave their house, but you see both of them approach the Quillins, pay their respects, and you see them having a lot of discussions with them. Kier and Florian weeping as they talk about their daughter, and you see Olav, Count Olav Watlin, gets incredibly teary-eyed, and also both of them, the Watlins, are also like crying with them, very visibly upset, and they stay for the duration of it.
will, I've been holding on to Renshor for the whole procession and up until this point in the Temple of Evren. And I think when I see my sister, I'd like to go over to her and kind of grasp onto her hand for support.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily out of like leaving Renshor, but going to give my support to her and kind of looking for her support, because Renshor knows I haven't seen her in a while, and this is I'm also grieving, and
Yeah.
I think I can also kind of like squeeze her hand a little bit and cue her in as to how I'm doing, because I think she would know.
Yeah.
If Renshor wants to also like walk over, like I'm not trying to leave him. If he would like to join me in standing with my sister, he's more than welcome to be there. But I think at this point I'm switching over from holding on to Renshor to holding on to Elda for support.
I will follow you because you are my rock right now, despite you being also a mess.
Yeah.
We'll lean on each other.
Yeah.
On Elda.
Yeah.
On Elda.
Elda squeezes your hand back. You see that she whispers something to you. You cannot hear what she says. And your mom comes over. And Renshor, you watch as Orianna's mother, goes in to give her a hug if Orianna will allow it. Starts talking, oh my God, Orianna, we haven't seen you in so long. We're so glad you're okay. We were so worried about you since over the summer. And as soon as we heard about Eleanor and Orianna, you hear nothing. You see her mouth moving.
Yeah.
And you can tell that she's
I just kind of wait for Elda to kind of diffuse the situation. Also, we're in a temple for a funeral. She doesn't need to be. She's yapping a lot right now. I am visibly I probably have tears coming down my face. I'm gonna let Elda kind of step in and maybe deal with our mom for a little bit, as she's been dealing with our mom the whole summer, because she's pretty good at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Better than I ever was.
Elda eventually calms your mom down and says, I'm sure Orianna has a lot going on. We'll talk to her later and more privately. And she guides your Allura away. At this point, the Quillins open the floor for anybody who would like to speak about Eleanor or speak about a memory, share a memory, or say kind words about their daughter.
I would have liked to have brought to the second part of this funeral huge bouquet of a bunch of Eleanor's favorite flowers.
Sure.
Even more flowers, like anything that I could get my hands on. Knowing that the city has already probably been all of the flowers have been used for the whole procession. I'm sure there are so many flowers laid out in this temple, but I'd still like to personally bring my own to lay before the casket. But I don't have it in me to share any words other than presenting some flowers and going to give Florian and Kier a hug and just to squeeze them a little bit and then go back to my seat.
Yeah.
I had something prepared, but I cannot give it.
Yeah. You would watch as a handful of people come up to give speeches. Marisol will come up and give a speech, speaking about how truly an honor it was to both serve Eleanor and to be so close to a family of counts as a servant to be able to speak at their funeral, and recognizes how she doesn't believe that any other position in Blacksbane, any other family, would have treated their servants as much as family as Eleanor did. The Caldwells, the Count Caldwell, Count Atwood, and Count Holland all give speeches on how incredibly talented Eleanor was, and how they will truly miss not seeing her in the Pristine, and how she, again, would have been the best of us, and how the city was robbed of great leadership.
Seeing all these other people give these speeches,
Mhm.
I do feel like I should give mine. I want to talk about how, unlike the rest of us here, she wasn't content to surround herself with money and sit at home. She always wanted to go out and travel and see more things. She wanted to draw all the different depraved and all the different wild things in the world that we can't even imagine. She wanted to cross the Dromo Sea and see and do so much more. She never got the chance.
As you step away from the spot where they have people orating, and you move back into the crowd, some of the viscounts from the southern towns begin to give their speeches. And as you move away back into the crowd, you feel a skinny, soft, wrinkly hand grasp your arm and give you a little squeeze. And you turn and you see a kind of like a hunched over, very old elven man. Elves typically look in their like 20s to 30s most of their life, and this man looks old. You see he wears the cloak of Grimwatch, the Rangers, and currently with one hand is grasping you and the other hand holding a cane, before coming to you and saying, "Viscount Heir Tyrvald, my name is Yanis Gore. I am of the Grimwatch, a good friend of the Quillins. I must say you're...
I've heard of you.
Oh, did you? That certainly touches my heart. I haven't, unfortunately, been very involved with the Quillins lately.
Eleanor truly enjoyed her meeting with you.
I must
About
say,
a few days ago.
It was the best meeting I've had in most probably a decade, if I'm being honest, since the loss of her grandmother. Yes, your speech was wonderful, beautifully captured someone who was so public, but only few people truly knew. And you see he kind of like tears well up in his eyes a little bit. He goes, I did not know Eleanor nearly as much as I knew her grandmother, but they were so very similar. Like you said, she was so excited to travel and see the world outside of Thallea. She came to me and was asking about the Verimour, and to not be able to give her the chance to travel to Ethra's Grove next month was devastating. But it will haunt me for the rest of my days that she will not be on that trip. And he kind of just squeezes your arm and begins to turn away and says, she was one of the good ones, wasn't she?
Indeed. I mean, everybody's saying it, but she was the best of us.
I guess all we can do now is try to be more like her. That way we can see her in our everyday. It is incredible. I've lived for more centuries than I'd like to admit, but the passing of somebody like Eleonore Quillin never gets easier. You only meet a handful of those people in your life. Take care, Renshor Tearfall.
Yes, you as well. It was a pleasure to meet you.
And you can see tears kind of roll down his face, and he shuffles away and moves to talk to the Quillins themselves, and before his long and slow trek back to Grimwatch. Is there anybody the two of you would like to speak to individually at this celebration?
No.
That's fine.
Honestly, no. It's not really the place to be asking questions or conducting business or anything, so...
Yeah.
I think not. And I think by the end of the day, I will probably leave with Elda.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Before you do leave, Kier pulls both of you aside. He does not look good. He looks like he hasn't been sleeping. He looks distraught. And he pulls both of you aside. His hands are shaking, and he pulls out like an envelope, and he goes, Eleanor would want you to have these. She made a lot of beautiful art, but we have plenty to put up around the keep, but these she would have wanted you to have. And he hands you an envelope.
Take one out.
Yeah, you open it up, and there's probably at least like 20 portraits of the two of you. Some of them are just like the face, some of them are full body, some of them are the two of you while you were engaged. Some of them are of you guys at events. But you can't help but notice that what you wish was in the picture was you and Eleanor. But you know that she was the one drawing the pictures.
You said there were two?
There's at least 20.
Or just the one?
There's like 20.
Oh, do I get my own envelope?
No, it's one envelope.
Oh,
there's
okay.
yeah.
And 20 pictures. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And you see, there's a wide range in ages between all of you, between all the photos. Like, there's some of them clearly drawn when you guys were younger, and then some drawn like post her return from Scrollspire.
I look at them in Renshor's hand, but I never reach out for them.
I'm gonna give you
And-
10 of them, and if you don't like any of them, you don't want to keep any of them, next time we see each other, we'll swap whichever ones we didn't want and see if the other person wants that one.
Okay.
Because you're taking some of these.
Orianna, you and Elda depart from the ceremony. As the ceremony concludes, Renshor, you leave with the Tyrvalds. Going off of that dirty 20 gossip check, you do watch the last thing that you pull from that is the Redvors make an appearance, pay their condolences to the Quillins, and as they leave, you can't help but watch Fortest linger for a moment after his parents exit the door. Kind of stops, gives one last turn, really takes in all the art that was in the Temple of Everin before he turns on his heel and follows his parents out.
I was wondering how he was doing.
And as the ceremony of Eleonore Quillin concludes, so does this episode of City of Shadow. Distinctly missing one of our 4 rings, which will hopefully be remedied soon. But the gravity of a death of a character can't be understated. But if you are invested in our highborns in Thallea, or you just need to know what Aubrey's next character is going to be, make sure you like and subscribe, ring the bell below. And coming up next week, we're going to take a break from the doom and gloom of Thallea, and our one and only Aubrey will be our innkeeper for a wonderful and magical Christmas one-shot. Make sure you tune in for that. We'll have the full crew back in session, all 4 rings, and we're going to do a fun and lighthearted one-shot to celebrate the holidays. We will meet again over another round at the 4 Rings Inn.
Bye.